All right, so it's 3:30 from when you dropped him off, and I've worked him probably about 5 times now. We've started marker work, which you'll get that video the day after you get this one probably. In the beginning, there's a lot of filming happening because we're doing a lot of things in succession, and they go in a certain order, so that way they make sense. So this is initial evaluation. I've spent the day with him. What are my thoughts? Well, he actually walks pretty nicely on leash. Before I start taking dogs anywhere, I have to develop a language with them. The language that's unspoken, which is right here with the leash, and then verbal markers that he understands when he's doing something correctly and when he needs to try again and when he's free and out of command to do what he wants. And that clarity is going to be very important. He so far has had no issues with my cats. He's indifferent to the dogs that are in the house. He's been quiet in his crate, but it's the first day. So that can be normal. I either see the worst of the dogs the first day or some of their best qualities. It just kind of varies. He moves really nicely on leash. Like I said, the slip lead, he does really nicely. This is just called Let's Go. You're going to hear me talk a lot about warm up, intention, and gauging dogs' willingness to work. If a dog can't move with me in my driveway, he certainly has no business going on an outing yet. So the next 72 hours or so, this is kind of what things are going to look like for him and I, maybe 48 if I feel good. Because what I have to do is I need to also walk with another dog. And what I use is a neutral dog. I need a dog that's not going to react to him if he reacts, and see how he moves with that dog before I add a place where I don't have control over the other dogs because they're owned by somebody else. And that neutrality is going to be important for me to see kind of where he's at, because you said he has a lot of barking. One of your homework assignments while your dogs are with me is to start looking for places that don't have a ton of dogs. I don't generally walk in my neighborhood. I'll work out here and I will go to that back area, but you'll never find me walk this way. Why is that? Because dogs are loose. There's dogs running the fence line, and it's the equivalent of a dog war zone. I prefer to load my dogs in the car and go somewhere where I know that I don't have to worry about a dog getting loose and hurting another dog. So while the dogs are with me is a good time to find good places where they're going to have good experiences on leash, and they don't have to feel like they're constantly in a state of fight. We want his nervous system to regulate itself while it's here and teach you how to regulate his nervous system when he's with you. He has some good foundation. He doesn't know down, at least not with me, but that's not abnormal that dogs don't want to down. It's quite submissive, and many of them don't like to when they first meet me. But he does know sit, and he does have some idea of what place is as far as the cot goes. He did that for me. I was able to eat lunch. And like I said, he moves really nicely on leash. One thing I want to point out, and I want you to notice and pay attention to when you're watching these videos, is how I hold my leash, how I'm communicating. There's not any sort of heavy leash maneuvering going on. It's like a dance. I don't want him ahead of me unless I gave him a cue to do so. I don't want him sniffing unless I give him a cue to do so. And I don't want him, what's the other thing I was going to mention? In front of me, pulling, sniffing. Yeah, that's about it. I want to manage a lot of stuff for him right now, make a lot of decisions for him right now. He can have agency later, but right now I want to make more decisions. I want to provide him with clarity that when we're moving together. It's our walk, not his walk, not my walk, our walk. You'll hear different trainers have different opinions on that. Some trainers say it's their walk, let them sniff, let them do this. Well, if the dog is reactive, collecting information of dogs that have already left and peed here could create more problems in the walk. We'll talk about that later. I have a whole tutorial about sniffing. And as far as the dog being ahead of me, if it's a dog who's not entirely secure and he resource guards, so that tells me he's not 100% secure, he's out front making decisions with very little influence from you. So you both need to be equally present in the walk together. Let's go. Good job, buddy. He's a happy little guy. I have noticed, and again, he's new. So this is initial instinct or initial thoughts. He does not particularly love physical affection that I am seeing. Now, granted, he just met me. I don't generally like physical affection from people I just met either. But I did notice a lot of opting out. So what we'll be also talking about is what opting out looks like. Picking him up from certain locations may not be comfortable for him. Freeing him up and then picking him up might be better, to avoid those instances where he is protecting himself, because he is giving a lot of clear cues that he is uncomfortable in certain things and I'm able to read them. So my goal is to teach you to speak skip. So you can properly say, let me get up, let me move him before somebody reaches down to pick him up. The fact that he is fine with the other trainer and me indicates there's obviously some tension in your relationship. And so we need to figure out what that is and fix it. And I think it's just a matter of he's speaking, but we're not listening. So we're going to talk more about that as we go on. All right. So again, this is kind of what it looks like for the next few days, is every hour or so getting out and doing 10 minutes of leash work and some marker work and building a solid relationship with him that'll carry us into new, more challenging spaces. Let me know if you have any questions.